So I got my Chase Sapphire Reserve card back in 2016 when it was first released. And back then it was offered with a 100,000 point sign-up bonus, which was amazing value. Now after 8 years of card ownership, does the Chase Sapphire Reserve card still provide me with enough value to justify paying the $550 annual fee? Well, let's take a look at a few things that I like and dislike about this card to see if I should keep it or can it. Now, as I just mentioned before, the annual fee associated with this card is currently $550. And whilst this isn't a horrible amount of money, it is still enough to turn a lot of people off even considering this card. And seeing that you can get the Chase Sapphire Preferred card for just $95 a year, why do I still choose to pay $550 for a similar card? Well, this brings me on to one of the things that I really like about this card, which helps me justify paying the $550 annual fee each and every year. And this is a $300 annual travel credit. And just in case you didn't know, it is actually very easy to make use of this benefit with the Reserve card. Much more so than the $300 travel credit that comes with the Capital One Venture X card. As with that card, you can only claim the $300 travel credit for bookings that are made through the Capital One travel portal. However, with the Chase Sapphire Reserve card, all you need to do is use the credit card to make a direct payment to a qualifying travel-related category to receive the credit. And seeing that there is such a wide range of travel-related categories that qualify for the credit, it's almost hard not making use of this credit. I mean, just look at the options you have on their website for the travel credit. You have airlines, hotels, motels, timeshares, car rentals, and then trains, buses, taxis, limousines, ferries, and toll bridges. So again, it's a pretty extensive list that is really easy to take advantage of. And this brings the annual fee down to a much more reasonable $250 a year, which makes it a lot more desirable and easier to justify. Although it's still $155 more than the preferred card on an annual basis. But I'll get onto that a little later in the video. Now, as much as I really like the $300 annual travel credit, there was one thing that caught me off guard with the Chase Sapphire Reserve card just a couple of months ago that I really didn't like. So as I travel a lot throughout the year for my second YouTube channel, which is in the automotive niche, I hire quite a lot of cars through the car sharing app Turo. And if you don't know what Turo is, basically it's a similar idea to what Airbnb is, but for cars. So people like you and me can essentially rent out cars to use when we travel, or you can rent out your own car and actually make an income from it. Now, what happened to me is really my own fault, as I didn't fully understand the auto rental collision damage waiver that is offered with the Chase Sapphire Reserve card. So on the Chase website, it states, decline the rental company's collision insurance and charge the entire rental cost to your card. Coverage is primary and provides reimbursement up to $75,000 for theft and collision damage for rental cars in the US and abroad. Now, I just assumed this covered cars that I rented from Turo, as I assumed it was the same as a rental company, but I was wrong. So what happened is I hired an Audi RS6, which is a pretty expensive car, and I chose the minimum coverage on Turo, which is the most cost-effective insurance option they offer, and it has a $3,000 max out-of-pocket expense if something goes wrong. So I just assumed if something did go wrong, Chase would cover the expense. And something did go wrong. One night when the car was parked, someone damaged the rear of the car, as you can see here in this picture. And whilst it wasn't too bad, you've got to expect that it will be quite costly being an Audi. So I called up Chase as I used my Reserve card to book the car. And they basically told me that they don't offer the auto rental collision damage waiver for car sharing platforms like Turo. Now, obviously I was a bit annoyed about this, so I decided to go over the guide to benefits for the Chase Sapphire Reserve card. And in the auto rental collision damage waiver section, under the section what they cover, it clearly states vehicles that are not rented from a rental agency. And then a little further down under definitions, it states what a rental agency is. A rental agency is a commercial rental company licensed under the laws of the applicable jurisdiction and whose primary business is renting automobiles. So seeing that I wasn't covered by Chase, I basically ended up covering the cost of the damage to the car out of pocket, which was not as bad as I thought it might be. But lesson learned, I will now always choose the full insurance option on Turo in the future. So that is one thing that I don't like about this card, even though it's my own fault for not fully understanding their terms and conditions. Now, I think it would be nice if they did include Turo on their auto rental collision damage waiver, as I think that it is a much better service than pretty much any other car rental agency out there. So let's get back to another thing that I really like about the Chase Sapphire Reserve card. Now, as I mentioned before, I travel a lot throughout the year, which means I spend quite a lot of time at airports all over the world. And this makes the next benefit that I get with the Chase Sapphire Reserve card really quite valuable to me. And that is the complimentary Priority Pass Select membership, which is worth at least $469 each year. At least that's what they charge on their website for a similar membership. Now, as you may know, there are quite a few credit card companies in the US that offer a complimentary Priority Pass membership as one of their perks. But what you might not know is that these memberships actually vary in what benefits you are actually entitled to. Basically, the Priority Pass membership that comes with the Chase Sapphire Reserve card offers all of the available benefits, making it quite valuable. So this includes access for me and one guest totally free of charge to over 1,500 airport lounges all over the world. And I use this benefit the most as there is usually a lounge at most airports that I travel through. Now, if there isn't a lounge at the airport that I'm visiting, I can use the restaurant credit where I can bring along one friend and claim up to $60 off our bill at a participating restaurant or cafe. Now, there isn't as many restaurant options as airport lounges available, but it's a nice benefit to have. Then if I have some extra time at the airport and they have the facility, I can get a free massage at a Be Relax spa. I did this last time I was at LAX and I got a free 30-minute massage that was valued at $38, and it was really quite nice. So the Priority Pass card that comes with the Reserve card more than makes up for the remaining $250 annual fee, at least for me. Now, another thing that I'm not too fond of that comes with the Chase Sapphire Reserve card that I think could be changed is the $100 credit you receive for use on either Global Entry, TSA PreCheck, or Nexus. Now, I don't want to complain too much about this as it can sometimes be useful, but in my experience, it seems that so many people now have TSA PreCheck or Global Entry that it really doesn't make that much difference in the time it takes to clear security at the airport. And I know that this isn't directly a problem from Chase, but more so the airport's ability to clear through thousands of customers each day. I just think it would make more sense if you could choose between this benefit and something else like a credit towards a clear membership. That, in my opinion, would make this card more valuable to more people who don't want the TSA PreCheck or Global Entry. Now, the last thing that I really like about the Chase Sapphire Reserve card is actually split into two benefits. So the first benefit is the ability to earn a substantial amount of points on travel-related expenses. And as I travel a lot, this really makes the card that much more valuable to me. I specifically book my flights through Chase Ultimate Rewards, which earns me 5 times points. Then when I book a Turo car booking, I earn 3 times points as it's considered a travel expense. And then if I don't have a car and need to get around the location that I'm visiting, I just book a Lyft ride, which actually earns me 10 times points. So throughout the year, I can earn a decent amount of points through my spending habits, which can then allow me to get a ton of value by using these points for travel. And this brings me on to the last thing that I really like about this card, which is the ability to transfer my Chase points at a 1-to-1 ratio to 11 different airline partners and 3 different hotel partners. And if this is done effectively, it is possible to receive a ton of value. More often or not, I transfer my points to the world of hire, as it is possible to find some really good deals if you take your time looking for them. For example, last year I booked a room at the Churchill, which is a Hyatt Regency hotel in London. And as you can see here, a room with 2 twin beds costs $674 a night for members. But if you use points, it only requires 25,000 points. This values these points at around 2.7 cents per point, which is really good value. Another way to look at this would be if you spent $2,500 on hotels, car rentals, or Chase dining all through Chase Ultimate Rewards. Seeing that these categories will earn you 10 times points mean you would receive 25,000 points in return, which then means you could technically stay at the hotel I stayed at for free, which is pretty much exactly what I did. So if you take the time to plan out what the best categories are to spend with the card, and then where you can get the most value from the points you earn, it is possible to receive a ton of value. So in reality, I still really like the Chase Sapphire Reserve card just as much as when I first received it back in 2016. And as you can see in this video, I am able to get quite a lot out of this card in terms of value. And I haven't even mentioned some of the other benefits that come with this card. Now, you might be wondering what I think about the more affordable Chase Sapphire Preferred card, which is just $95 a year. Well, I think that this card is also fantastic value and can potentially make more sense for some people depending on how much you travel throughout the year. If I didn't travel so much and spend so much time at airports all around the world, I would be perfectly happy with the Chase Sapphire Preferred card. So if you found this video interesting and helpful, please hit the like button to help with the YouTube algorithm. And if you would like to see more content like this, make sure to subscribe. Now, if you want to see how the Chase Sapphire Reserve card compares to the American Express Platinum card and the Capital One Venture X card, I've created an in-depth review of the best credit cards for 2024, which you can watch right here.